Welcome to Culture Builders, and I'm excited about today's episode because people are always asking me, hey, what are some great questions that I can ask? And oftentimes, these coaches or leaders, they might write down some of these questions and try to ask them often. And that's a great way to ask great questions, but there's also the best questions require us to listen really, really well. From our listening and our curiosity, the great questions that's where we find those questions. So today's Culture Builders is asking great questions, the 5 key to great questions. All right, now great questions, they are the key to powerful change conversations. They help us to connect, to understand, and challenge others in a way that feels supportive rather than confrontational. But asking a great question, it takes more than just good intentions. So here are the 5 criteria I use to guide my process. Number 1, open, not closed. Like a great question opens up a conversation. It invites the other person to share more about their thoughts, feelings, or experiences. Closed questions, on the other hand, well, they can shut things down quickly. Like a closed question is, did you work hard? Right? That's a yes or no answer. An open question is, how do you feel about your effort? Open questions are an invitation. They say, tell me more. My second criteria is what or how, not why. See, why questions often put people on the defensive, even if that's not our intent, right? They can come across as accusatory. Shifting to what or how questions makes a big difference. So avoid, why did you do that? Try, what led you to make that decision? Or how did you arrive at that conclusion? Can you notice the difference already? Just listen to those. Right? It's subtle but powerful. And when you combine this with a good lead up, the conversation really opens up. And that's my third criteria. It's the lead up or set up. So don't just jump in. The way we set up a question can completely change how it's received. Jumping in with a blunt question can make people feel defensive or caught off guard. Instead, take a moment to set the stage. So jumping in would be, why didn't you follow through on your commitment? When you use a lead up, you might say something like, hey, I've noticed it's been tough to stay consistent with your commitments lately. What's been getting in the way for you? So a thoughtful lead up, it shows empathy and creates a sense of collaboration. It's the difference really between calling someone out and calling someone up. Now our fourth criteria is curious, not leading. So curiosity is the heart of great questions. But let's be honest, sometimes we're just not really curious. We're asking a question to get the answer we want. Now that's a leading question. And while it has a place, it's not the same as a truly curious one. I like to think of questions on a spectrum. So at a 1, there's the least curious questions. All right. These are leading questions. These nudge someone toward a particular answer. So here's an example. What do you need to do to raise your effort? Now, moderately curious questions, these allow for more open answers, but still reflective on your experience. So here's an example. I know you've been trying to bring more effort lately. How do you feel about your effort today? That's a moderately curious question. Now, highly curious questions, these questions have no agenda. They're about genuinely understanding the other person's perspective. And here's an example. What are you noticing lately? This is one of my favorite questions. What are you noticing about your effort lately? Now, criteria number 5 is be curious, not judgmental. This mindset, this curiosity mindset, isn't just about the words we use. It's about our mindset. If we approach a conversation with judgments already formed, even the most curious question will feel loaded at times. To be truly curious, we need to suspend our own beliefs and be open to theirs. So ask yourself, can I put aside my assumptions? Am I genuinely open to hearing their perspective? When we show up with curiosity, people sense our heart. It changes our body language and tone, and it creates the conditions for trust, openness, and opportunity for connection. So by keeping these 5 criteria in mind, open versus closed, avoiding why, using thoughtful lead-ups, and fostering curiosity and embracing a non-judgmental mindset, you can transform the way you engage with others. You will improve your conversations and your ability to coach others to become the best that they can be. Thanks for listening in to the Culture Builders.